Hello, everybody. Today we are with Natanee. Thanks for joining the podcast today. Could you please introduce yourself to the community?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Natanee. I'm a World, I'm a World Bank Group Knowledge Management Analyst Consultant in Equity Growth, Finance and Institution Unit. Mhm. And I already work with the bank about a year. And I'm in my role, I'm in charge of developing knowledge and learning within the internal World Bank Group staff, especially within my unit. I share the newsletter and news, and also organize the event like knowledge management events, mhm, and also creating and combining these useful resources. For example, like PFI COVID-19 resources with the World Bank Group staff. And I'm also a doctoral candidate in education policy at the George Washington University now. And in the past, I worked with different international organizations for about 8 years. Yeah.
So, what's the topic of your research for your PhD? Do you have an
Oh, yes, already. So it's about career and technical education, policy analysis within the US.
All right. Thank you for your introduction. Could you please tell us a story, or share some of your life experience where you had to deal with some information that actually, without this information, you would have failed, or any stories where information is actually a key factor of success or failure.
Yeah, sure. So I think right now COVID-19 is such a very hot topic. So recently we received so many informations within the World Bank and outside the World Bank, and obviously many World Bank group staff they feel uncertain and they have doubts. Um, like how to proceed with different information that they receive. Um, so currently, we are developing our COVID-19 resources page that gathers all reliable information sources to guide the World Bank Group staff, especially within my unit, how to deal with their personal, operational, and policy challenges. And this page, actually, it features policy, blogs, articles, and papers within the World Bank Group, within the unit, and also outside the external sources. Mhm.
But how do you explain that you have to help people working for the World Bank dealing with this type of issues? The first reaction would be to think that people working for the World Bank have enough education background to sort out the information. Um, how come you have to help them to do this type of task?
Mhm.
They don't
Yeah.
have the skills.
No, of course. I mean, everyone is very talented, and I mean, of course, they have the skill to sort information. But I mean, because we receive so many information, and I mean, sometimes it is very easy to miss the information. Like for example, like the World Bank Group and IMF, we just um, we just have the new policy. So the World Bank Group and IMF now call on all official bilateral creditors to suspend debt payments from IDA countries. So that is like a news for today. And I mean, sometimes like staff can sometimes staff cannot keep up with a lot of information. So I think this platform is a good platform to combine all of the key information that staff need to know. And I mean, it's just one page, so they can just easily
Yeah.
go there and check information. Yeah, especially in this information period, we receive so many information and we don't know which one is important and key. So I think it's very
So
important to
how do
have.
you go with those articles? So you mentioned that you help all the employees in the World Bank to get access to valuable and reliable information regarding to COVID-19. How do you do this work yourself? How did you come up with this list of articles for the newsletter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so actually, I work with my colleagues um, and to gather all the information that forwarded by the communication person and knowledge management person. So they are the one who like help us filter what are the key information, and we also try to target the information from the reliable and higher manager person, like the vice president or the director um, of the World Bank and of our unit. Yeah, and from those um, and from the upper or the higher manager information and the com, com person email, we just gather that and put into the and we just feature into our page.
All right. So this is really a work where you try to help all the employees to get reliable information so that they can succeed. Or I mean, would you say it's an attempt to avoid them failing, or it's to succeed in some matter to make a better informed decision? What is the purpose?
Yeah. So this page, the goal of this page is for helping the staff to solve the operational and policy challenges that they face in their countries, and also in the personal life as well. I mean, we also feature some of the guidance how they should react with the COVID-19, and I mean, like the safety measures and for the health issues, we also put into that. Yeah.
All right. So might be a bit early to ask you this question regarding COVID-19. If you have any successful case studies where some information that you shared helped organizations in a country to succeed, because obviously we're still in the middle of the crisis. Do you have any successful case study where some of the information that you shared to some organizations in some countries for the World Bank help them to make a super good decision and ultimately become successful?
Yeah, I think for now it's a little bit early to say um, to to see the achievement and the success. I think it would take a little while, but um, I think I we received the feedback from several from some staff that this page is very useful. Mm-hmm. And I mean that we not only developing this page, we also have the live space. We create a Yammer group for the staff to like for the space for them to raise the question about their concern, and I mean other people can also come and comment. Yeah.
All right.
So I mean we try to stay up to date to this kind of pandemic situation. Yeah.
Yeah, because so basically the information that you're giving um, become obsolete quite fast in terms of data, and the scientific knowledge moves very quickly as well. So how do you cope with the speed of change in that matter when there's a
Yeah.
crisis?
Yeah. So within the page, we put after the name of the resources, we also put the date after that, and mostly we also try to link the resources into another page that is always up to date. So that way we like we try not to uh, we try to stay up to date and like just try to get rid of this issue of the obsolete files or the obsolete information. Yeah.
And how do you get access to this information? Do you buy any licenses? Do you pay some newspaper? How do you access to knowledge? Because some knowledge is paywall protected. Some people have been, complaining about that free information is fake, and real information you have to pay for it. So how the World Bank is managing that?
Yeah, so mostly this page feature the internal files and documents. So I mean, we do not really have to to buy the license or the rights um, from the other companies, because we feature our own stuff to our staff. And I mean, from the external source that we get, uh, I mean, they are, I mean, sometimes they are our partners, and I mean, they are open source. And I mean, the stuff that we get from the open source, they are like a very trustworthy and reliable organization. So that way, I mean, we make sure that our staff, all of our staff will receive the right information and not the fake information or news. Yeah.
All right. And for the internal resources, so who is writing those articles, and who is making this information? Those are experts that you have in house.
You're right. You're right. So some of them are like health specialists or like a social protection specialist within the field or at the headquarters. So many people now, yeah, I would say lots of people, a lot of researchers and specialists now try to write a lot of papers. So you will soon see a lot of paper and publication coming out about COVID-19 and
All right.
about related to health and social safety net or like social protection. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So obviously, if they're expert and they are in house, you don't need to double check. I mean, you don't have the qualifications to actually assess. For healthcare, for instance, is very technical. Um, so you just trust them. Oh, you,
Yes, of course, because they are like a very high qualified staff.
yeah.
Obviously, I mean, they got like their PhD, like from top 10, like Harvard, Yale, like from different, like a top high ranking universities. And most of them, they have like over 10 to 15 years working in this field. So, I mean, actually, I do not even have to question them. I mean, they are like more than qualified. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, most of
Okay.
them also work with the governments in different countries and give advice. So I mean, we are experts here, and yeah, I mean,
Would you say that there's some countries that are more exposed to fake news or lack of information?
yeah, I mean, for in my personal experience, I just feel that may, that there are some news come out from last year. I mean, not come out from last year, but I mean, that talk about last year, and I think um, they they feature the fake news, with obviously like when you look at it, you can catch that they are fake news. Yeah, I think Russia is one country that people write many fake news about COVID-19, and I mean how they deal with the COVID-19. Yeah.
So there's some inequalities in terms of tools to detect those fake news, and some countries are not as prepared as some others.
I mean I for I just feel that this kind of fake news mostly it just feature on Facebook or like on Twitter, and sometimes like people just share, and like some people just trust them because they don't know that they are fake news, because sometimes they don't even know like the sources of the information or the news itself. um, so I think it's very important that where the information or the news come from. um, yeah, like which company or which organization write that news.
So what would be the few tips that you, so you just gave one, always check the source. Do you have any other tips or techniques to help people to assess the reputation, or if it's just assessing if
Yeah.
the
So not
information is true or not?
yeah. So not only about the sources, but also the authors or like the reporters. Um, you always need to check like about. I mean, I think most of the time on the website you can always see like that title or position, or you can click a link and see the link to their background, and that way I think it also helps you to know like who is who write this news or like information and how you can trust them.
But it requires some critical thinking and also having time to deep dive into each article, given the fact that there's so much content online, right? And we're just being bombed by all this information. Obviously, it's very complicated to do it. So how do you, I mean, I guess you don't open and check all the resources that you see on a daily basis. How do you manage your information flow on a daily basis?
Yeah, so basically I think people can easily subscribe to the reliable news. Like for example, like they can subscribe to CNN or BBC, or to the organization that they trust, like Booking, or like they can subscribe to like the World Bank um, newsletter. Mm-hmm. And I
So,
think
so you're suggesting to put a filter on the organizational level. So people should select some organization that they trust, such as BBC or World Bank.
you're right. You're right. Yeah. I mean, it just yeah. You can choose the channel or like the companies or organization that you trust. And I mean, of course, that it is reliable and like many people use it. And I think that way you can it helps you to filter unnecessary information, or like yeah, like, and you will not be too bombarded with the
Hmm.
unnecessary information or the fake news or the fake information. Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you very much for sharing all those valuable stories and tips. Is there anything else you would like to share with the community regarding anything to information and knowledge in general? Maybe the reason you choose this field of research might be interesting to know.
Yeah, sure. So actually, I think this field of work is very interesting because, um, I mean, for me as a knowledge management person, I get to learn like the new things, like the news or like the policy, and like I'm being able to share the information with the other people, and for that kind of period. I mean, there are so many information out there, and I think people in general deserve to know like the right and accurate information. Um, yeah, and I think being able to develop other people knowledge and share, I think is very critical to this fast forward world. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you very much for sharing. Thank you for your time, and all the best with this crisis. I'm guessing you have a lot of work to do to sort out all this information.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to share what I know, and yeah, thank you all for listening to me.
Great.